finishing the reinsurance discussion here, and now we'll discuss on underwriting. So the underwriting is basically the the main factor which which works as the brainchild of the success of an insurance company. So this is known as underwriting. In underwriting we estimate, the underwriters are basically they estimate the premiums. They are the ones who estimate the premiums, and then they have a clear idea about how the insurance company has been doing, what is the target, what kind of profiles they do have, everything they know everything about that particular insurance company's business. And but what they want to know is that what is the risk of different individuals of falling sick. So that information they get from the actuarial scientists. So what they do, these actuarial scientists, they estimate the risk of falling sick for each individuals. And based on this information, the probability, the underwriters basically estimate the premium, because they can estimate the premium based on the PS into C, the cost of treatment, because this PS component comes from the actuarial scientists, and PS they estimate this premium, and then they know the load of this insurance company, and based on this they can estimate the premiums here for each and every customer. If it's a group, then for the group. If it's an individual customer, then for individual customer separately. So what does this, the underwriters do? Their roles are: one, risk management, number 2, distribution management, and number 3, cost management. So the risk management is, once the risks are being stated by the actuarial scientists, they now distribute the risks across different kind of groups of population or different population within their customer base. If they have not done only cherry picking, so they have healthy patients as well as unhealthy patients, they do this distribution management, because they have to adjust the premium accordingly, and based on the cost of each and of the risks, individual risks or the group risk, or if there is a community rating, then based on the community. And then as it's a risk pooling, so the risk should be distributed accordingly, so that those who are sick already or who has a higher probability to fall sick, they don't have to pay enormously high. Similarly, those who are young, healthy, or coming out of group insurance, they are not paying enormously low. And then the cost management, because here they are also doing accounting a premium, not the actuarially fair premium, a premium which takes care of the load as well, the administrative cost. So the administrative cost component also they need to think about, and then together they estimate the premium. The top 3 challenges these people face, the underwriters, the top 3 challenges are: 1, disclosures; 2, underwriting skills; and 3, processing hurdles. Always it's not possible to do experience rating. So what happens when the insurance companies rely on the disclosure by the patients? So a patient can lie that I don't smoke, I have never fallen sick, and then I do physical activities. They can lie. A person who is truthful that I have never smoked, I do physical activity, I am 35 years old, and premium is set for them. And the same person, his friend says that I am also 35 years old, yeah, I also do running and jogging and I have not never smoked, and then the premium is equal for these two persons, whereas the second persons carry a higher, larger risk of falling sick. And then this disclosure, which is actually leading to loss making, potential loss for this health insurance company. So this is a adverse selection, and this happens because of the adverse selection, because in order to get more and more customer, they just didn't find out that whether that is a truth or lie, and then they made a mistake, and that is why they failed to do a risk classification, because now both the persons A and B are similar, so there is no risk classification, and then the risk assessment or the rating has been done accordingly, exactly the same. Probability A's for sickness for A, PS for B are altogether same, and you are estimating our risk. And secondly, if there is a moral hazard, what happens in case of moral hazard, that they go for this treatment even if it's not required. So, and but however, the moral hazard can be controlled in terms of when the insurance companies identify that there is a possible moral hazard. What they do, they can cancel their insurance, they don't renew them. Number one, they can increase the co-payment, the percentage of co-payment when they reinsure. Now, okay, you have done a moral hazard, so you have to make a larger amount of payment. We are not going to be to pay for you 80%. Now we will only pay 60% or 70%, and then we can do they can do a fee negotiation that your premiums will be higher. And also they can do the exclusions or limits, that is the amount of benefits that person will get. So if they have lied on something, so on those physical habits or the bad habits, whatever the morbidities are associated with, they will not, the insurance company are not going to pay for those morbidities. So, and then the underwriting skills are often making mistakes in terms of this load estimation, making mistakes in terms of this making mistakes in terms of the probability estimation, which comes from the actual scientists, and then the failing to do a proper distribution management, and all these underwriting skills actually leads to the losses to the insurance companies. And then the processing hurdles are often, there are delays in processes, in claims, in pre-authorization, and in terms of that they have a misappropriation in doing this underwriting estimations or this premium calculation, and finally while doing the renewal, and this causes a dissatisfaction to the customer. Because of this, if the customer has gained or has availed an insurance last year, and then they want to continue with the insurance, and because of these underwriting challenges or limitations and also the processing hurdles, it causes dissatisfaction to the customer. However, the benefits are, of course, that it increases the efficiency of the insurance company to appropriately estimate the risk, to appropriately measure the premium, and hence to to manage the losses or the net amount of at risk finally. So, and also with the inclusion of technology, more and more technology, it has been faster, and then the distribution is, or the networking is easier with this telecalling facility, online services through third-party administrators. So there is lesser of information asymmetry. So all first comes the actuarial scientists, where they estimate the premiums, and then comes the underwriters. Because actual scientists first they estimate looking at this background profile of the customer, they will estimate a probability, and then based on that probability, understanding the operational cost, understanding the cost of the treatment, and the company's financial condition, the company's market share, everything which only the underwriters know, the actual scientists probably don't know. Then these underwriters, based on this probability estimated by those mathematicians or statisticians who are the actual scientists, and then they will estimate the entire premium. Thank you.